Tonight here on Rock Center, you'll see the work of our two new colleagues, Ted Koppel and Chelsea Clinton. Ted is just back from a return visit to Iraq. We've been hearing a lot about this claim that our long and costly war in Iraq has finally come to an end. But is that true?
4,500 dead, 32,000 wounded, and a financial cost approaching $1 trillion. A trillion. So you have to believe that it's finally over. It's done, right? Well, not exactly.
And tonight, Chelsea Clinton returns to her home state of Arkansas to tell us the story of a remarkable woman who is making a difference in the lives of thousands of poor children.
We started feeding at 3:30, and we run until 4:30 every day.
And do you think for some kids that's their last meal of the day?
For some kids, that's going to be all they're going to have until they go back to school the next morning.
Also tonight, we will meet the improbable new star of the web.
Guess what I wear as a hat? A lentil.
What is it about Marcel the Shell that millions of people find so addictive and so captivating? Well, it helps to get to know Marcel's parents. That and more tonight as we get underway on Rock Center. Good evening. A lot of Americans will forever believe that the war in Iraq was an elective war. The United States chose to attack. There was never any connection proven to the terrorist attack we had suffered. But there's no sense in refighting it either. It was nasty enough for those who did it the first time around. For those of us who were there to see parts of it, to see the heroism of U.S. fighting forces, it was indelible. For those in the fight, those who lost a family member back home, it was world-changing. It's been nearly 9 years now. Today at the White House, the president hosted the Iraqi prime minister to mark the end, the departure of the last U.S. troops later this month. But as you're about to see, it's not the end. It's not the end of U.S. spending or engagement or entanglement. Tonight, we debut the reporting of our new colleague, Ted Koppel, who went back to Iraq and found that for the U.S. there may indeed be no exit.
It's been a little less than 9 years since I joined the 3rd Infantry Division as they crossed from Kuwait into Iraq.
I was trying to think of something that would be appropriate to say on an occasion like this, and as is often the case, the best you can come up with is something that Shakespeare wrote, "Wreak havoc and unleash the dogs of war."
And now, as U.S. forces reverse direction and come back out again, it may be time to tabulate the overall cost. 4,500 dead, 32,000 wounded, and a financial cost approaching $1 trillion. A trillion. That's $1 million a day for 3,000 years, and we did it in less than 9. So you have to believe that it's finally over. It's done, right?
Re-engage. Come on, come on, come on.
Well, not exactly. The United States, which less than 9 years ago obliterated Iraq's military power, is now in the process of rebuilding it. At Besmaya, on the outskirts of Baghdad, these specialists from General Dynamics and a handful of U.S. Army trainers are teaching the Iraqi Army to maintain, drive, fire, and maneuver M1A1 tanks. The Iraqi Army has bought 140 of them. One can only hope that what's good for General Dynamics is good for the USA. It's easy to get confused, but Washington's goal these days is maintaining influence in Iraq while keeping Iran in check. Those military trainers, the civilian contractors, they're just the tip of the iceberg. Take a look at that vast, sprawling compound of buildings, guard towers, and blast walls on the other side of the Tigris River. What looks uncomfortably like a maximum security federal penitentiary is the largest U.S. embassy anywhere in the world. That and 2 gigantic consulates in Erbil and Basra are staffed and operated by more than 16,000 people, most of them Americans, all of them under the direct authority of the U.S. ambassador to Iraq, Jim Jeffrey.
I believe that the White House and the Executive Office building together
cover about 14 acres. How many acres do you cover here?
We're considerably larger than that.
About 104 is what I've heard.
I have heard that number too.
Yes, would you disagree with it?
Not at all.
Have you ever seen a U.S. diplomatic enterprise of any kind? Anything to compare with this?
Saigon when I left in 1973.
That's not a very happy comparison.
You asked me for a
I did.
numerical size, not a expression of happiness.
The windows are bulletproof. Attacks on the embassy reached their peak during heavy sectarian fighting in 2006 and 7. It's still a regular target. The question is, what happens when U.S. forces are gone? The debonair Iraqi officer, Major General Qasem Atta, is an official spokesman for Prime Minister Maliki's office. It is the Iraqi government, in theory, that is now responsible for the security of those thousands of Americans. And that's a government wrecked by corruption and religious division. I'm concerned, as I know you must be, about the possibility of fighting between Shia and Sunni again.
We have surpassed this issue. At this point, we refer to Iraqi forces as the Iraqi National Forces, and they all are working fine together now.
Do you mind if I just walk along here and ask each man?
عندك مانع إذا هو راح سأل كم سؤال؟
لا ما عندي مانع براحتك.
Okay, come on guys.
عندك أنت حضرتك سني أو شيعي؟
شيعي.
شيعي.
You're Sunni? Sunni? If we can get these guys just to slow down for a second. Ask this man, please. Hold on.
سني أو شيعي؟
إن شاء الله كلنا مسلمين.
He said we're all Muslims.
I understand. Some Muslims are Sunnis, some Muslims are Shia.
He said it's not a nice question to ask. We hate that question.
I apologize. Okay. Their clear discomfort may in fact be because of my bad manners in raising a sensitive issue in such an insensitive way. But if Saddam Hussein's senior officials were almost all Sunni, Prime Minister Maliki has made sure that the Ministry of Interior, that's the police, and the Ministry of Defense, that's the military, that those are both controlled by his fellow Shiites. And then there's the corruption. I've never seen that piece of equipment before. Where does it come from?
من وين الجهاز؟
هذا صناعته بريطانية.
It's a British device.
أنا أعتقد بأن هو قارئ عن أكو فد مشكلة أثيرت في بريطانيا عن هذا
He
الجهاز.
suspects that you know about the device and you.
Actually, General Atta is dead right. I had heard about it. This little gizmo is supposed to detect explosives. The Iraqi government bought roughly $100 million worth. The ADE 651, which certainly sounds as though it ought to work, was produced at $250 apiece and sold to the government at a reported cost of $60,000 apiece.
نسبة الخطأ قليلة.
He said they have tested the device. They had their experts, Iraqi experts, test it. It had detected explosives and also weapons.
That, sadly, lacks the additional virtue of being true. Government investigations in England and the United States have concluded that ADE 651 is a total scam. The Iraqi government arrested the head of its own bomb squad. Other government officials were investigated. People have died because of the illusion that this piece of junk works. It doesn't. The big picture General Atta wanted us to record was how normal this major shopping district in downtown Baghdad really was on a balmy, late Saturday afternoon. As normal surely as any place can be, with clusters of police snapping off smart salutes at every corner as our broad-shouldered convoy of armored trucks roared down the avenue. But what is normal in the company of a major general in Iraq's national police is potentially life-threatening to American diplomats leaving the embassy compound.
The execution is 5-vehicle motorcade, basically the lead, K9, limo, ERV, and the follow.
When they head into the actual city of Baghdad, ominously nicknamed the Red Zone,
All right, gentlemen.
they travel with a staggering amount of protection.
Rules of engagement.
The use of deadly force is authorized in self-defense or defense of others.
These 5 vehicles are merely the advanced security detail for this morning's movement. The reconnaissance helicopter overhead, the massive security detail, that's all State Department now. They will go ahead to a downtown Sheraton hotel to prepare the way for a second 5-car motorcade carrying, in this case, Beverly Hall and Jessica Buchanan. They are both contract employees of the State Department, English language officers on their way to a conference with Iraqis who teach English as a second language.
You've got to realize that there is something totally bizarre about this setting. Back in the States, this sort of a security detail would be reserved for the Secretary of State or the President.
And every time we do anything outside of the international zone, this is how we travel. So, and it's normal. Yeah.
Is it necessary?
Yes.
Yes, in order to stay safe in this environment, it's critical.
Traffic right.
Whenever there's a stretch of open road, the vehicles weave back and forth to make the effective detonation of roadside bombs more difficult and to allow each driver a clear line of sight. There have already been threats from radicals within the Iraqi parliament that once the U.S. military has totally pulled out of Iraq, American diplomats will be considered an occupying force and must be driven out. We're talking now about 16 to 17,000 Americans, third country nationals working for the State Department,
Base 22 through second traffic circle.
and private contractors, thousands of them who provide security.
Jerry, Jeff, you want to call an audible and go to checkpoint 4?
On this morning, in this place, the concern is that snipers may be lurking in one of those high-rise apartments. The Americans staying behind after the military leaves, they all know that they are targets, even those who merely teach English as a second language.
We are diplomats and we will continue to do that job until the president says otherwise. And we will continue to perform those same functions that embassies around the world perform. And as long as the government of Iraq welcomes us, we will continue to stay here.
You guys are terrific. You really are.
We're just doing our job.
Did you hear that? Just doing our job. That phrase has been used in conjunction with both bravery and drudgery in Iraq for the last 9 years. When we come back, Ted Koppel continues his reporting with exactly what that job will entail for the Americans who will remain.
We are standing here in the shadow of these gigantic roofs, which have been built for one purpose, and it ain't to keep out the sun.
Welcome back. As of right now, tonight, there are about 5,000 U.S. troops left in Iraq, and President Obama has pledged they'll all be out by New Year's Eve. You may remember the brutal fighting in and around the city of Basra, the largest in southern Iraq. And in Basra, this military withdrawal does not necessarily translate into safety and security. Iran isn't far away, and Iran exerts huge power there. Ted Koppel now continues his reporting from Basra.
Think of it this way. The U.S. is withdrawing a highly visible presence in Iraq and replacing it with a presence that is all but invisible. The former Marines and Special Operations Forces who now serve here in Iraq as civilian security contractors like, for the most part, to stay below the radar. But there is one place where the former and present affiliations are clearly spelled out, here on this memorial plaque. Triple canopy, triple canopy, triple canopy, triple canopy, DynCorp, DynCorp, all civilian contractors. An estimated 1,500 of these contractors have died in Iraq since 2003, and it's not over. Often, it's those whose names we don't know, the men and women who continue to operate covertly, the security measures we can't show you, that most eloquently make the case. The United States is not leaving Iraq.
I realize you can't go into it in any detail, but I would assume that there is a healthy CIA mission here. I would assume that JSOC may still be active in this country, the Joint Special Operations. You've got FBI here, you've got DEA here. Can you give me sort of a menu of who all falls under your control?
You're actually doing pretty well, where I authorized to talk about half of this stuff.
A State Department plane brings us to Basra, scene of some of Iraq's bloodiest sectarian fighting, less than 20 miles from the border with Iran, set in some of the richest oil country in the world. Overnight visitors to the U.S. consulate are given a cup of coffee and a short but mandatory briefing by Regional Security Officer B.J. Green.
When the alarm goes off, stay as low as possible, preferably be face down in the prone position. You want to block your ears.
We've seen attacks where it's just been one rocket, and we've seen all the way to double-digit numbers.
Lieutenant Colonel Andy Posnick is the lead officer for military transition at the consulate in Basra.
Who is the enemy?
It's Iranian-backed militias or Iranian proxy groups. The training, the financing, the equipping is all coming from Iran.
In another couple of weeks, this massive construction project will have to be finished. Colonel Posnick and almost all the military are leaving. Among those staying, most are Americans. Many are security contractors. Everyone reports to the Consul General, Piper Campbell.
We are standing here in the shadow of these gigantic roofs, yes, which have been built for one purpose, and it ain't to keep out the sun. It's to defend against rocket attacks.
Yes.
This is a very dangerous area.
It is.
And we are really building in order to stay in a permanent way. It's a different footprint, but the footprint still has an aura of danger about it.
That's absolutely true.
One security officer says it's like building a consulate on Omaha Beach. Some of the 1,320 people who work here call it Fort Apache. If those Iranian-backed militias were to launch a full-scale attack on this consulate, would the U.S. cavalry ride to the rescue?
We depend upon the Iraqis, and if we need security support, we will turn to them and we will tell them, I've got a problem in Basra and you need to help us.
The question is, will they?
I believe they will.
That's what an ambassador has to say about his hosts. This is the man who might actually have to deal with that nightmare, Lieutenant General Robert Caslen.
General, how are you going to get 1,320 people out of there? I mean, if you got 24 hours notice that something like this was going to happen, you're telling me the Iraqi government would evacuate immediately, would get them all out of there?
I would argue that we do have in theater, whether it's in Kuwait or elsewhere in theater, that we fall under the Central Command, CENTCOM, and I feel confident that CENTCOM has the necessary assets to take whatever measure they need to counter that attack.
But why put all those people at risk in the first place? As things turned out, Saddam and Iraq never did have the bomb, remember? But Iran. Now, there's another matter. What this is all about today is Iran and the bomb. Iran and its support of terrorism. And yes, Iran and all that Iraqi oil.
This field, which really extends as far as you can see, has been categorized by the International Energy Association as a supergiant field. There's going to be a big oil conference taking place in Basra at the end of this month.
Tom Schmidt is head of the economic section at the U.S. consulate in Basra.
A really amazing number is what we're flying over right now holds 1.4% of the world's total oil reserves.
We don't fool ourselves. This is challenging, dangerous work.
And if Iranian influence in this region becomes greater than it already is,
yes,
what is the impact that they could have on the U.S. economy, quite apart from the global economy?
I think that it's clear that if you had increased Iranian influence in southern Iraq, that would work against the interests of the United States. It's not just the oil companies and the people who are drilling, but it's all the different elements of support, companies like Caterpillar and Citibank.
American
national interest in the economics of this region big, huge?
Huge. Clearly huge.
Ted Koppel's here in the studio with us. First of all, welcome. It's terrific to have you here. It's terrific to have your reporting. I wrote down the words dangerously exposed, while watching the piece. So many people speaking through clenched jaws. You can almost hear it in the voice of that lieutenant colonel from the 1st Cavalry. Why aren't the remaining Americans to be considered dangerously exposed from now on?
They are dangerously exposed. And you have to remember, Brian, that the military command in Iraq did not want the U.S. troops heading home. The commanding general asked for 27,000 troops to stay behind. The fact of the matter is, if the Iranians were to launch an attack against that consulate in Basra, you have to be willing to put your money on the Iraqi government, and if the Iraqi government doesn't do it, who else is going to do it? Well, as you've heard, there are a lot of American troops in that region, and I would put my quarter on saying they're coming back and they'll be the ones to evacuate. But we can't pull out of Iraq. It's too important. 2nd largest oil reserves in the world. We used to talk about that 9 years ago. I haven't talked about it much for the last 8.5. But yes, to a large extent, it is about the oil.
A lot to talk about. Don't move. We'll take a break. More of our conversation with Ted when we come right back. We are back continuing our conversation with Ted Koppel. Let's talk about the politics of this. First of all, the politics in this country. President ran on bringing all the men and women home from Iraq. Had he reached the conclusion that they needed more force protection, would have been a tough one to sell.
It would have been a very tough one to sell, and I don't think his political advisors in the White House wanted him to do it. And in all fairness, he's simply carrying out the deal that George W. Bush made a couple of years back with the Iraqis. But the fact of the matter is, U.S. interests are vitally engaged over there. It isn't about Iraq right now, it's about Iran. And ironically, we're hearing echoes of the same things that we heard 8.5, 9 years ago. The bomb in Tehran, the support of terrorism, and that oil. It's not that the Iranians are going to seize it, but if through their influence they can control it, they can drive the price of gasoline in this country and around the Western world up to $5 a gallon, $10 a gallon. It's a scary thought, Brian.
Part of your story made me angry for how long it takes us to learn lessons. When you and I were over there, our roof gunners in the Humvees were getting torn up like hamburger meat, and it took us years to realize that if we build a turret, that will protect them. Our motorcades were getting blown up because they were shiny new Chevy Suburbans from the state traveling in groups. And I look at this and we're back to that stance. It's like we didn't learn some of those lessons.
You've learned the lessons, but you either have an army there to run that equipment or you don't. You don't have the helicopters now, you don't have the Black Hawks now, you don't have the fixed-wing aircraft now, you don't have the APCs and the tanks over there anymore right now, and that's all wonderful. I'm glad the troops are home. But those Americans who are left there, and again, we're talking about 16,000, 17,000 people, they are very, very exposed, and the question is, with U.S. troops out of there, which country has more influence in Iraq today, after the war, after all the losses? The United States or Iran? And which country is going to have the greater influence 6 months from now or a year from now? It's going to be a tough bet.
And briefly, having charged in there with the 3rd Infantry, how did it feel to be back after all this time?
Oh, you know something? You and I have been to so many of these places over the years. I haven't been in Iraq since 2005. What was slightly disturbing is I think it's a more dangerous place today than it was in 2005, and likely to get even more dangerous. If you look at that photograph on the front page, I don't know how many papers around the country had it, the New York Times today, the remains of Iraqi and Iranian soldiers being exchanged at the border.
Yeah.
They're making peace with one another, and we're leaving. Where does that take us?
May I thank you again for joining us?
My great pleasure. Thank you, Brian.
I was joking with you earlier, asking what story you'd have ready for next week, and I got a very nervous laugh as I'm getting right now. We're thrilled to have you on the team and await your next piece of work. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, we welcome another new colleague around here, Chelsea Clinton. She will introduce us to a woman who is making a difference. She's found a woman who's helping the lives of children who desperately need help.
You go with them to their juvenile hearings. You clearly go with them to their teacher conferences.
I want them to know I'm there. If I say I'm going to be there, my word is my bond.
Welcome back, and we are very pleased to introduce another new colleague tonight, Chelsea Clinton. She has joined us because she wants to tell stories, just some of the stories she has encountered along the way during her life's travels. She'll be telling those stories as part of our series called Making a Difference, which of course is a regular feature on NBC Nightly News. Tonight, Chelsea reports from her home state of Arkansas on one incredibly dedicated woman who truly is making a difference for the children in the town of Pine Blulff.
You gonna walk past me? I ain't.
There are a few things to know about Miss Annette Dove before you first meet her. She's going to hug you.
Hi, Chelsea. We're so glad to have you.
I'm so glad to be here. She's going to ask about school.
How was school today? Good.
There you go, baby.
And she's going to make sure you're eating.
You like green beans? Oh, I know. They're good, aren't they?
Helping kids has always been part of Annette Dove's life. But after her husband died and her 4 children were nearly grown, this former educator decided 10 years ago to quit her well-paying job to devote her entire life to serving the kids of Pine Blulff, Arkansas.
We heard a few gunshots earlier.
Right, a couple of gunshots.
So the gunshots we heard aren't that abnormal?
No, no. And for our children, it's just their world.
It's on streets like these where Miss Annette Dove offers hope to hundreds of kids surrounded by crime and poverty.
Our kids are punished because parents are unable to do or provide for them, and I don't think it's fair. So I feel like children ought to have someone in their lives that will fight for them or will help them.
For Sam and Devontae, that means a hot meal after school to help their grandmother Pearl make ends meet.
This is the refrigerator. So this will last about 2 weeks, I guess.
We started feeding at 3:30, and we run until 4:30 every day.
And do you think for some kids that's their last meal of the day?
For some kids, that's going to be all they're going to have until they go back to school the next morning. How was school today? You did good? Were you good in school today?
She's created a model for how to meet her kids' every need all under one roof. The program is called TOPS. She gives her kids good food to eat, a safe place, time to talk, tutoring.
We have a whole area right up here with trash. Let's get that picked up.
And lessons in responsibility.
How many of you like cornbread?
She even offers cooking lessons, teaching how to make the most of what they get from the food bank.
We're going to ask Miss Chelsea if she will do the first demonstration for us.
Oh, dear.
You really don't cook, Chelsea, do you?
Not a lot. I'm working on it.
Oh, you're working on it. Okay, let's...
I did make Thanksgiving.
Oh, you did?
Yes, ma'am. They also have a lot of fun.
What did Miss Dove forgot to do?
Wash your hands.
I did wash my hands earlier. What I find that a lot of kids do want the help. They want to be loved. They want the same thing as everybody else, but they don't know how to go about it, so somebody's got to stand in the gap for them.
You go with them to their juvenile hearings. You clearly go with them to their teacher conferences.
I want them to know I'm there. If I say I'm going to be there, my word is my bond.
15-year-old Britton says Miss Dove leads by example.
Sometimes I'll pass by the building. It's Sunday, 10 o'clock at night. Miss Dove car is parked here. You know, I'm wondering, like, what's she doing here working, you know? So seeing the standard that she said, it made me set a standard for my life.
For 18-year-old Cordero, Miss Dove filled the void after his mother died 5 years ago.
It's a great honor for Miss Dove to be in my life.
My family really don't take time out with me, or I can't really sit down and talk to anyone else.
Miss Dove always makes time for her kids.
And Nakai, is Miss Dove still part of your life even though you're in college?
Yes, ma'am. Physically, emotionally, financially, she's just there. I can call her for anything I need, and if she got it, and even if she don't have it, she's gonna find a way to give it to me.
It's not about me. It's not about Annette. It's about these children, and it's about their life and giving them an opportunity.
Her giving is all the more remarkable when you know of her sacrifices. She used her own savings when funding for the kids came up short.
You've given every dollar that you have and then some. That's clearly been
How was school today?
a challenge for you as much as it's also been your calling.
Well, Chelsea, I believe that we're created. God created us to help. And I tell people that growing up, I've had pretty much everything that a child could want. I've had a nice life. But at some point, we have to give back.
Last year, Annette Dove says she paid herself $19,000. More than half of it went straight back into TOPS. Now she struggles to pay her own bills. She's even had to file for personal bankruptcy.
All my stock accounts, all my savings, all of that is gone. But I still look at the value of making a difference in a child's life. I want those babies to be able to say someone reached out and helped me.
Well, Chelsea Clinton, first of all, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We highlight stories like this across the country. They're minor and major victories, and I some days think without them, the whole country would fall apart. And as I watch her and get to know her through your eyes, I want to know, how long can she sustain this and keep this going?
Well, certainly from the perspective of the kids she serves and the families she works with, and from the city of Pine Bluff, they hope forever. The mayor told us that he couldn't imagine his city without her. So many of her children told us they would be in jail and possibly dead without her intervention and her mentoring and her love and support. So certainly from their perspective, they hope that she lasts forever. More pragmatically, she is looking at what she needs to do to institutionalize the love and support and care that she provides at TOPS. So she's trying to secure more funding. She's trying to train more people to take her irreplaceable place. And she's hoping that TOPS will be around long after she's gone.
And one thing that struck you when you came back from the trip, she takes on teenagers, kind of fully formed teenagers. A lot of groups will only take on young kids. They consider teenagers in a perverse way beyond their reach.
She actually started work like TOPS when she was a youth minister. And she left that position in her church because her church community didn't want her taking on young men whom they thought had strayed too far from the path. And she didn't agree with that. She believed that if the right person believed in them, they could get back on the straight and narrow. And so she's proven that time and time again, taking kids from the juvenile system. Cordero, whom we saw in the piece, had been in the juvenile system twice. So many of the young men and women, like Nikaya, whom she's worked with, have had encounters with the law. And yet, seeing Cordero as he's on the verge of graduating from high school, and Nikaya as she's in college, are a real testament to her confidence and belief in the work that she's doing and her call to continue to do it.
As they say in Pine Bluff, set a spell. We'll continue our conversation after this. We wanted to let everyone know, for more information about Miss Dove and her program, we've put it all on our website, rockcenternbc.com, including information for those who want to help. We'll be back to continue our conversation right after this. We are back continuing our conversation with Chelsea Clinton. So tell us how you got from your life, as it was, say, yesterday, to a life now with us and doing this.
Well, I'm really grateful to be here with you.
We're happy to have you.
So thank you for the opportunity. For most of my life, I did deliberately lead a private life and inadvertently led a public life. I've always been incredibly proud of both of my parents. And proud of the work I had done privately as a person and professionally and academically. My grandmother, who passed away at the beginning of November, had a core adage in her life that life is not about what happens to you, but about what you do with what happens to you. And she recently had been cajoling me and challenging me to do more with my life, to lead more of a purposefully public life, that being Chelsea Clinton had happened to me, and that I had a responsibility to do something with that asset and opportunity. And telling stories through making a difference, I believe, will be one way to manifest that, and I hope to make her proud.
And because to travel the nation and the world as you have means that you're surrounded by stories of people doing good, there's no lack of causes for them. What are some of those on your radar that you'd like to tell as we go down the road?
Well, stories like Miss Dove's, frankly. Stories of people who see a gap and, as she said, step into it. In her case, who have seen many gaps. She started with a reading program in 2002, and now TOPS truly is living up to its name, targeting our people's priorities with service. It now feeds hundreds of kids and often their families every day. It provides mentoring and tutoring services. And we have 15 million kids in this country who aren't in after-school programs like TOPS. And I think so often what we confront is a failure in imagination. And so hopefully by highlighting stories like Miss Dove's, where someone has figured out what works, figured out how to really help the kids in Pine Bluff, could be inspiring to people confronting similar challenges in their communities across our country.
So in the months to come, we're curious to hear all about it. We want to hear about you and your life. We want to hear about all the people's lives you're going to highlight for us. In the meantime, it's great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Brian.
To Chelsea Clinton.
Thank you.
We'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll introduce you to the internet mogul with one eye and two pink shoes.
Pulling muscles from Michelle. Pulling muscles from Michelle.
2 years ago, if you sat down with a network executive and pitched them the idea of a new TV show about a hermit crab shell with two pink shoes and one plastic eye that was shot on home video in your apartment, that network executive might just laugh you out of the room. But fast forward to now, if you pitch that same show idea today, you'd have a deal. They'd say, "Where do I sign?" That's because Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and that's what he's known as, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, has become the biggest small star of the comedy world on the web. And that's because his parents were behind him all the way, and they were there for him in the rough and tumble shell game of show business.
My name is Marcel, and I'm partially a shell, as you can see on my body, but I also have shoes and a face, so I like that about myself, and I like myself, and I have a lot of other good qualities as well.
Like the best animated films from Hollywood, it has something for adults to love and something for children to love. But unlike those films, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is done on this computer in this Brooklyn apartment by this nice couple who live with this nice dog and a small shell that talks.
Guess what I wear as a hat?
What?
A lentil. One time I nibbled on a piece of cheese and my cholesterol went up to 900. Guess what I used to tie my skis to my car?
What?
A hair.
The story of Marcel begins one night 2 years ago.
Jenny Slate!
She was a new cast member in her first season on SNL, and it was her dream. Jenny Slate, Ivy League educated, 27 years old, was already a well-known figure in the New York improv and sketch comedy world. The sketch she wrote that night was about two women bikers, and during rapid-fire dialogue that called for a substitute word, she dropped the F-bomb.
You freaking just threw an ashtray full of butts at my head. You know what? You stood up for yourself, and I love you for that.
You could see it on her face. She realized her mistake immediately. So did those watching in disbelief. She apologized, but her first season on SNL was her last, and the soul-searching began.
I wanted to be creative, but I was feeling like, well, I'm not sure if I'll go back to Saturday Night Live, and I feel like maybe I should just sit still and be quiet until someone tells me what the verdict is on me. And I think that began to make me feel feelings that were negative about myself, and it began to start to sort of taint this experience that I loved.
Guess what I use as a pen?
What?
I use a pen, but it takes the whole family.
In the comedy business, when the going gets tough, the tough make the best of what they can find around the house. And luckily for Jenny and her fiancé, filmmaker Dean, they already had a shell collection, one eye, plastic shoes, and Jenny's newly discovered comedic little boy voice.
Would you like to hear some?
And a star was born. And while Marcel is the Shecky of the shell community, as funny as it sounds, it can also be poignant.
My one regret in life is that I'll never have a dog. But sometimes I tie a hair to a piece of lint and I drag it around. Come, I love you. Come with me. Come.
The close-up photography and painstaking stop-action animation forced the couple to look more closely at their apartment as a soundstage, including sneakers, a slipper, and the dog who scares Marcel half to death.
Oh, God. I can smell his face.
But look closely at something else. Look at the number of times Marcel has been seen on YouTube. A lot of network prime time shows would kill for 14 million plus viewers. When the second installment hit the web, it had more viewers by its first night than a lot of popular cable news shows, and it's already up to over 3 million. Marcel's parents are proud and amazed. They've already written a book, and they're in talks to turn it into a TV show, which is the next logical step.
It's fun, for as long as it's fun.
I agree. It's nice for us to do together because it's well-intentioned, but it's not pushing anything. But also, I like talking as Marcel because as a person, I can be sort of spastic and I get flustered and like what I'm doing now. But Marcel speaks very clearly.
And then toward the end of our interview, Marcel joined the conversation, and he came ready to play. Has having one eye affected you in any way?
Has having one nose affected you in any way, Brian?
Fair point, Marcel.
Yeah, I like to keep it fair. I'm a straight shooter.
Touche.
Indeed. Ha ha ha.
Little guy gives as good as he gets. And by the way, tonight on our website, more of our interview with Marcel's parents, Jenny and Dean, including a frank discussion of his gender. That is Rock Center for tonight. For all the good folks who worked so hard to bring this broadcast to you, thank you for being here with us. And by the way, special thanks as well to Chelsea Clinton and Ted Koppel, our newest colleagues around here. We sure look forward to bringing more of their work to you on this broadcast very soon. I'll see you tomorrow evening from this very studio for NBC Nightly News. For now, for all of us, good night from New York. Your late local news begins now.